could always use more heroes.
Welcome back to episode 3 of Hero Recall, and my name is Tom, one half of Level 2 Gamers, and joining me as always is Mr. TigratoPower over there in Canada, and we don't have Keegan again this week. It's too late for him. He's got some stuff he has to do tomorrow, so maybe he'll join us next week.
Keegan's a bitch!
Fair enough.
Sorry. Sorry, Keegan, I love you. You know this. I just like to make fun of you.
But yeah, so we're back, and first of all, I want to give a huge thank you to everybody for watching, listening, whatever last week. And really nice view count on the video. Lots of people give some really nice comments on it. So really happy.
I haven't read the comments yet. I need to do this. I'm excited.
It was like
I'm
in
excited
like
for people to complain about my stupid voice.
No, it was in like Reddit and stuff. People were posting in there and saying this is really good. So yeah, I'm happy about it.
Oh,
so,
I don't have Reddit.
Happy about
I'm not cool.
how things are going. But yeah, so we're back. This time around, we decided to switch it up a little bit in such that we're still talking about heroes, but we're moving off the tanks. For the time being, we will come back to tanks.
I made this call.
You did.
I made this call. There were too many tanks.
Too many
We're
tanks.
in the goats meta still.
Just to give
we
you
need to hear about DPS.
Just to give you an idea of how I was structuring things, this is how lazy I am. I was literally just going left to right on the hero select screen, but then James here brought up the fact that maybe some of you DPS players would like to see some of your heroes, and before you have to wait.
I want to do
get
support next time too. Okay.
Okay. Well,
This
maybe
is
we
my
could
plan.
do two tanks, 2 DPS, 2 support, something like that. We'll like cycle it or something. I don't know.
No, I think it should just be. Well, it might be hard because there's more DPS than anything
We'll figure
else.
it out. No worry
We'll
about
figure it out. It's
Anyway, so welcome back.
The glare of my glasses.
Lots of things have happened in the time that we've been away. First of all, the patch has gone live everywhere. We already talked about that. But finally, Baptiste is in competitive mode, which happened only like 2 days ago, something like that.
Monday,
so he's in there, which also means
Tuesday? It was Tuesday.
It was Tuesday. Also means he's available in OWL now. So I just watched, like right before we started recording this, I was watching the Philly game. Sad news, but he did get played for the first time ever in OWL by EQO, which was really kind of nice to see, so that was good.
He's not in break jail anymore, he's in Baptiste jail.
He's in Baptiste jail. But then we also had like just this fucking mental week of transfers, just people retiring and
transfers
hired
that didn't happen
and
as
swapping
well.
and not yet non-existing transfers. So we're gonna get into that a little bit when we get into the professional section. Don't you worry, we got you covered on that front. We also have a little bit of a talk about one of the new arenas that was released, the built from the ground up Philadelphia Fusion Arena, which we're pretty excited about. And then we're gonna go obviously into ourselves a little bit. We're gonna delve into our own opinions on a few characters and top it all off with the DPS character that we have not named yet, which is Sombra. So that's the show for today.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, so she's
I can't do her accent.
That wasn't bad. Yeah, the voice line part's gonna be a nightmare. Anyway, I can't even say her like all. We've already proven
I can
that.
kind of do the voice lines. It's just that calming. It's something to do with my previous job, or I still kind of have it, but. Anyway, I'll explain it not here.
Not on it. Gotcha. Alrighty. So yes, thank you for joining us again for episode 3, and let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is Baptiste, actually. So we talked about Baptiste at the beginning of every single podcast so far. Don't worry, we're kind of done with Baptiste after this week, but since he is just now joining competitive mode, and we've both played him in competitive mode, let's get the final verdict on whether we think he is meta changing in competitive or ladder mode. And I'm just going to hand it right over to you for your opinions on that.
Meta changing, no. Not at all.
Do you think he works well?
Being someone who has recently had to climb in solo queue basically by playing bloodthirsty support, he's really nice for when the enemy team has like a bastion or something and they don't defend him properly. Because you can shoot that guy from long range. Also, I will note that when the enemy team is the Pharah,
yeah, good for Pharah.
Good hero for that. So he does give you more options, I will say, but he's not necessarily meta changing. We still probably need to see more work in the league.
One thing I kind of have come to this conclusion which is it's interesting because it's kind of the opposite of how I thought things were going to be after playing him in the PTR. But last night I was playing a game on Dorado, and I chose Baptiste, and I was with a Moira, and we were in the first big choke, the tunnel choke on Dorado, the first point A, and I was pumping like those health grenades into the front line like nobody's business. And I mentioned it the first time we talked about Baptiste, how I was concerned that would be OP in terms of like just like grenade, reload, grenade. It's not. If anything, it feels lackluster. Like, it felt to me like the Moira was out healing me easy, and I know she was DPSing way more than I was. So even though I was using my little like regeneration boost thing, and I was like pumping the grenades into the tanks, I felt like either I wanted them to have like a bigger burst and less like maybe a longer in between fire time, or just like it almost felt like he wasn't putting out the numbers that I expected to put, because I focused purely on healing and I wasn't putting out the numbers. I was still silver to that DPS Moira. So that was something to consider, I thought.
He gets the big numbers. Was it just your tanks in front of you?
Yeah, I had a recent Diva and then like Junkrat and a couple others sort of hanging around.
He gets the really large numbers if it's your whole team clustered together, and that's why people are saying he's going to be good for goats. Gotcha. Because that's exactly how goats is played.
AoE.
That's how he's going to be. It more depends on how many people he's healing with one grenade.
Yeah.
Whereas Moira can put out a lot of healing on a single person, and multiple, actually. But yeah, he feels a lot kind of like playing Ana, except you actually can heal multiple people at once.
I do feel like the invulnerability field or immortality field, whatever the fuck it's called, is probably his most useful trick, and definitely can be utilized for big things, like in terms of like, oh, there's a Junkrat Riptire coming, throw it down. Everyone get in here. There's a Diva Bomb coming, throw it down. Everyone get in here. Like, it is a good counterplay to a lot of things. But, it's not like, it doesn't feel unfair. You know what I mean?
No.
But I did watch in misery as I had a Reaper on my side that was shooting everybody in the field without once shooting the actual field, and just like wondering why nothing was dying.
I've seen exactly the opposite.
Oh, really?
I actually played Baptiste a couple times today. The first thing those Reapers would do, they would stare at it, take it out in like 2 shots, and then go after you.
Yeah, no,
but in some cases, that would give you enough time to kill him.
That's true.
I had it happen once. I might have tactical crouched on him.
Alrighty, so let's move on to the patch notes. We actually had 2 patches since the last time we spoke. Miniature patches, nothing special, nothing crazy, but I did want to get into them a little bit. So the first one came out, when was this? This was March 27th, and that had updates to Doomfist, May, Reaper, and Symmetra. Doomfist's update was to the Seismic Slam. He can now target through railings. Yay, I guess. May's Ice Wall.
Quality of life.
Easier to apply on thin surfaces and appears less jittery when placing while moving around. So for those kind of like quick, oh my god, get a wall up situations, like a little bit less kind of like all over the
kind of like
place.
The teleporter.
Correct.
Symmetra's teleporter, which I think is the change with her as well.
There is, yeah. Reaper Shadow Step, easier to place on thin surfaces, and it looks like they did a lot of quality of life changes for Symmetra, Reaper, basically like anyone that had problems with railings, pretty much.
Yes.
And again, appears less jittery when placing while moving around. And Symmetra, players that use your teleporter now continue to look in their current viewing direction, which is handy, and easier to place on thin surfaces, and appears less jittery while placing while moving around. So some good sort of quality of life changes for those characters, which is nice. And then there was a few bug fixes too. So they fixed a bug where your view would become level with the horizon after using Symmetra's teleporter. Interesting. I don't think I ever saw that one. Doomfist fixed a bug where Doomfist would get caught on door frames when impacting a wall. Poor Doom. Reaper fixed a bug where Shadow Step's placement target would fall from ledges. That's funny. Fixed a bug where Reaper was able to gain capture progress on an objective while phased using Shadow Step. And Symmetra fixed a bug where the teleporter's placement target would fall off ledges. So after they did that one, they did a little tweak to it, which involves, can you guess? Doomfist, May, Reaper, and Symmetra. So, the updates to that. Doomfist fixed a bug where targeting seismic slam on a surface that inclines or declines, like stairs, would fail if you were looking downwards. May fixed a bug where placing ice wool on a surface that inclines or declines would fail if you were looking downwards. Reaper, you want to guess?
Shadow step looking downwards on inclines and declines.
Fix a bug where placing Shadow Step's target on a surface that inclines or declines, like stairs, would fail if you were looking downwards. And then for Symmetra, fixed a bug where Teleporter wouldn't fit in some short windows. And fixed a bug where placing a teleporter on a surface that inclines or declines like stairs would fail if you were looking downwards. So yes.
The stair update.
The stair update. They did a lot of quality of life changes to specifically, I guess, placement abilities would be.
There was one thing about Reaper you missed, though. He can shadow step midair now.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't. Was that included in those updates, or was that a newer one?
Yes, I think so.
I know he does it on the PTR.
That's been included. That's PTR now.
That's PTR. I don't think it's live, but yeah, no, you're right.
I've seen a video of someone doing it.
You are right. Yeah, it is cool as hell as well. Definitely makes for some interesting flanks.
He can save himself off ledges now in some cases.
Yeah, I do actually like that, and it does make him, and it's faster too. Like it takes him less time.
I think it's faster. Yes.
Yeah, to kind of get out of that, and also quieter, I believe. So basically, like the update that everyone asked for, but instead they gave him 50% regen with shooting bullets. So they gave him the shadow step that everyone kind of wanted. So hopefully we'll get to see that.
Did they pull back?
They did. They pulled him back to 30. Yeah, they pulled him back to 30%.
Okay, yeah. Cool. That's what I thought they were. So
they started with 50, which was fucking horrendous. But yeah, they did pull back and they gave him 30. But they've done this update for Reaper mains, which is literally the only thing they've been asking for years. Although I did see someone put bring soul
really
orbs back the other day.
I don't think the self-sustain. It was nice. I think it changed some things up, but for the lower tiers, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's hard.
You had to have so much coordination to take out a Reaper.
and aim, because like realistically, like McCree could gun him down really quickly, but in silver, gold, even it's hard to pull that off. All right. So that's your kind of quick update to the game itself. Paris and Baptiste are in Owl, and excitingly so. There's been a lot going on with Owl recently, and we are here to break down as much of it as humanly possible for you, but honestly, it's been a lot, considering the very short time period in which we've just finished Stage 1 and just started Stage 2, like today as of recording. So let me go through some of this with you, because I have a handy-dandy list of all the things that have changed in both Overwatch League and Contenders in the last, 2 weeks? So if you're ready, I will stop on some of the more interesting ones. I'm going to skip a lot of it, but we'll stop on some of the more interesting ones. And I think nothing more interesting, quite frankly, than the very, very first one, which is, let's talk about Atlanta Reign. So what's the big news for Atlanta Reign?
Defran retired.
Defran retired. Straight up retired. After
from competitive play,
one stage of he's still going to be a streamer. He's actually a what do they call him? Like partnered streamer for Atlanta Reign.
Streamer for Reign. Cool. It's like Fran.
Yeah, Fran is partnered, and like Emong for Philly. But yeah, so DeFran is retiring from Owl and spending time instead as a streamer. His reasoning was kind of just that I think he felt a little burnt out by what he was doing, and also maybe not so happy with having to play Zarya, which you can't be mad at him, because I'm sure other DPS specialists are just as angry being stuck in
a lot of them
Zarya jail.
Stuck with Brig.
Oh, Brig too, yeah. I mean, yeah, Zachary was complaining about Brig, EQO complains about Brig. But, seeing some of the biggest talents in the league sort of end up, AKM, Carpe, those guys getting stuck, even Sinatra getting stuck on Zarya. They're really good at it because they're pros, but at the same time,
that's not what they want to do.
DeFran broke out of Torb in his first match in Overwatch League. That dude just came to play. So, yeah, I am a little sad. I feel like he just came to do that grab on Hollywood and then just fucked off after he did that in Overwatch League. It's just kind of like, that's me, I'm out, dude. So DeFran's gone. But in more exciting Atlanta Reign
I want to talk about the DeFran thing, my thoughts on it.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm not a fan of DeFran, people know this, but
you're not
I actually
fan?
I'm going to pretend you didn't just say that. So I don't think it was just the lifestyle of the pro player wasn't really his thing. And I know that he's had in the background, he had some personal problems, which I hope he sorts out because I don't wish harm on anyone.
In a better spot.
I just don't think it was good for him. I don't think the lifestyle was good for him. He was a great player. He did lots of damage, was one of the best DPS in the league for that stage. But it's just the whole lifestyle, probably the constant practicing and all that stuff, it just didn't really fit for him. So
he
probably
streamed
better for him
too, didn't he? Because he streamed, like, he wouldn't stream Overwatch, but he would stream random shit. Like he did something like a 10-hour stream of an anime dance or something. Yeah. So yeah, clearly the guy lives on his own terms. Let's just say that. Yeah.
Which there's no problem with that, but just that didn't fit with being a league player for him. And I think it would be better for his health, his mental health, possibly even physical health, just to not
and
be
honestly
like
probably
that.
his pockets too, because I think that even though he was probably getting a handy dandy amount of money from Overwatch League, I think he probably makes more from streaming, and
he's affiliated now of the team, so he's probably still getting some money from that,
right? And you know, they still sold a lot of jerseys off his back, and I do feel bad for folks that pick those jerseys up. But yeah, I'm sad to see him go. I think he was like I liked the idea of having a streamer in Overwatch League, as when we talked about it with Keegan and everything. I personally am a fan of that because I think that it helps expand the brand more. It also makes it a little bit more exciting in places. But for him now, if you look at his his Twitch profile or his Twitter profile, it already says like ex Overwatch League pro player and stuff. So he already has that kind of association now of being like literally one of the best, so it's going to be even more through the roof for his streams because a lot of people didn't know who he was until he came in.
I don't think he'll be the last streamer to make it to Overwatch either.
I don't either.
I think there's going to be more. Yeah. I think we're probably going to see some who are able to make the lifestyle change, while still probably keeping a bit of their streamer sensibilities and behaviors.
Dogman is still alive and well, and he started out as a streamer, so. Also Atlanta Reign. Speaking of Atlanta Reign, a little bit more, Funny Astro. He's out of jail. He's out of booster jail, and he's back in the league on a 2-way contract with Atlanta Reign and their Academy Team 2. For those of you that don't know Funny Astro is largely regarded to be one of the best Lucios in the world, and also has 4 accounts in the top 10 of all time, like right now, Overwatch players on ladder, and they're all him playing Lucio. So pretty good pickup. Pretty good pickup. Atlanta Reign didn't exactly have like a terrible Lucio to begin with, but I do think that having Funny Astro on board is going to be really special for them. He is like
it's going to be both really good for them and probably really exciting to see in the league. Yeah, he's probably going to do some Reddit level shit.
I am pumped. Like I know they lost Defran. Defran was a big reason to watch Atlanta, but let me tell you, Funny Astro is also going to be a really big reason to watch Atlanta. So really excited to see that happen. Baby Bay.
He's not the only reason.
Baby Bay. Yeah, he got acquired from San Francisco Shock, and he's now going to be playing for Atlanta Reign. And on top of that, we also have FRD, who was acquired from the Gladiators Legion as a flex tank. So we have Defran gone, Funny Astro, Baby Bay, and FRD in for Atlanta Reign. That's just Atlanta. We're not done even close yet. Boston Uprising. Let's talk about your team for a second.
Ooh.
So, I tell you what, we'll start with what actually has happened, and then we'll talk about what almost happened.
What didn't happen.
Let's start there. So, first of all, they got a new signing by way of a gentleman called Persia. Persia, flex support coming in, exciting, good stuff.
Has the same birthday as me.
Has the same birthday as you.
Good omen.
They also acquired RCK. RCK came in, and he is a hell of a good diva, but by getting RCK, you gave up Note. So Note has been transferred to Dallas Fuel.
We lost the Canadian boy,
and RCK has come in. It's like Fuel's just collecting Canadians. But yeah, RCK from Dallas and Note to Dallas. That is a fair trade that they did. Sad to see Note go. Note is one of my favorite players, one of my favorite diva players. But you know what? I love RCK. I think he's dope. So I really am not mad about it.
I'm not too mad about it either.
I'm trying to figure out why. That's been my big thing. Like, why?
I'll get on my thoughts on that after we talk about the trade that didn't happen.
All right, let's talk about the trade that didn't happen. I'll leave you to kind of explain it.
So, the trade that didn't happen, this was the thing everybody was talking about right after the stage playoffs. There was supposedly discussions between Valiant and Uprising, where Valiant would get Fusions and from Boston Academy asking, a DPS player, where Boston would get Fate, the main tank, from Valiant, and also, what's his name?
KY something.
KSF.
KY Jelly, that guy, you know.
But yeah, KSF. So this deal was basically a done deal. This is what everyone's saying. So this was going in before the playoffs. No players knew about it going into the playoffs, just the teams. So the first hiccup that came up is that Boston saw an omission on Valiant's discussions. They saw that KSF would actually get more money than they originally thought. So they had to rediscuss the terms of that. Basically, he would get a signing bonus and his salary would go up or something like that.
Didn't it start as a verbal contract, but when they saw the actual contract, that's when it kind of broke down a little bit. Yeah.
That's what it seems like. And this is all, it's not totally confirmed, but these are good sources, supposedly. I have a link that can be posted with.
Oh yeah, I'll put all that in. Don't worry.
Yes, but so that was ironed out. KSF got something that more Boston could agree with, and that was all good. But then someone supposedly from the Valiant side, Valiant denies this, says they weren't part of it. There was a leak, and this is when both players from the team who previously did not know about this, and this is still before the playoffs. This is the key part of this. Players found out about it, fans found out about it, and there was a big uproar. So I didn't really hear about it until after the playoffs, so maybe it was just the players at this point. But so Asking knew about it from Boston Academy, and he got really excited because he's like, I'm going to OWL.
Why not?
And then Aim God knew something about it because right after they lost in playoffs, they said, oh, the fans are not going to be happy about something that's happening in the next few days. So they all knew. The players knew before the playoffs, which was a big mess.
Yeah.
And Valiant...
Let's stop there for a second as well. Do you think it affected the performance?
I think it might have had a bit of a psychological thing, because especially for Fusions, he's thinking, like, I'm going to be traded by this team. I don't think it really would have made the outcome any different because Titans are just such an indomitable force right now. But it might have had a bit of an impact psychologically. Can you imagine just going into playoffs like, I'm going to go play for this team, but they're going to trade me right after this?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine as a player going into that? Like, I've done all this stuff. Am I not good enough for them?
And not even are they going to trade me, but they're going to trade me to the literal most losing team of the league right now. Yeah.
Who I don't think are going to be 0-7 this stage. I think they are going to win. But, like, that's still, like, that must play off your mind a bit. I'm sure Fusions, it didn't play that much, but just a little bit at the back of your mind, it must be like, was I not good enough?
Weird feeling. Yeah.
But I think it was also people were thinking the meta was going to switch, and people are saying that Fusions isn't so good on Winston. People were thinking Winston was going to be good and all this stuff. But whatever happened, Valiant, I guess, either by reaction from the fans or just reaction in general, they were having second thoughts. And they were having second thoughts going into the deal anyway about it. But they kept negotiating the contracts, and they're saying, yeah, this is good. And it got to a point where Boston Academy even signed someone to replace Asking. That's how sure they were that this deal was going to go through. And then it came to a point, like, still going up to a point where Fusions was actually going to have a going away party, a going away meal with the team. It was scheduled. That's how sure they were this deal was going to go on. And throughout that day, it was looking less likely that Valiant were going to go ahead with the deal. And it fell through. An hour before Fusion's meal to say goodbye, thanks for everything, Valiant was like, nope, not going through with it.
Crazy.
Can you imagine? Boston Academy has signed a new DPS to replace Asking. The deal falls through. And now... supposedly it's hurt Asking's mental thing. Like, he has had a bit of a competitive slump since this whole thing. And
I could see that.
To share the playtime with this new signing. Can you imagine what a mess this was? And apparently Boston was looking for some compensation for all this trouble, Valiant initially said, yeah, we will, and now they're saying, no, we won't.
Wow.
It's a big mess, and I don't think we're seeing the last of it. I don't think the trade's ever going to go through, but we're not seeing the last of this, what almost seems like a divorce agreement.
I tell you what, though, the next Boston versus Valiant match is going to be interesting. That much I do know.
Absolutely heated. I'm sure that Fusions is going to go for it.
Yeah.
And Note's probably going to go for it, too. I actually think that Fuel will beat Boston, because Boston's been having a bad track record against their former players.
That's true. That is true.
But it could go either way.
So back to your reasoning behind Note and the RCK switch. What's your thought?
I think that this other thing, and this is based on how Huck, he likes to bring in new players to Overwatch League, and this is, a lot of people say this is a really good thing, and I think it's a good thing too, but I don't think his reasoning behind it's very good, because he seems to do it just to make money for the team. Not for himself, but for the team, to bring in more players, and I think it hurts them competitively. I went on a huge rant about this in a Discord server. People seem to like my rant, so maybe there will people be agreeing with this as well. But I actually think that this Note RCK deal might have been driven, because Note's was no doubt highly valuable. He's regarded as one of the best divas in the league. I think that might have been a driving force. I think Boston got some good money out of that deal. So they were like, in lieu of this other deal, let's do this, and maybe that drove them to actually sign Persia as well. They had some money to do that. So maybe not totally a bad thing, but also that's probably why the Note trade happened.
I don't know. I feel like Dallas Fuel really were the winners of that trade. Like, not to knock on RCK, but
I don't think it's a huge hurt to Boston, but I do think it will be good for Fuel.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're right. I think there are people that say that RCK is perhaps a bit more versatile than Note when it comes to that, but I guess we're gonna see. But
thing is, Diva is pretty much always in the meta. They haven't been able to kick her out yet.
That is true. Alrighty, speaking of Dallas Fuel, Coco, the coach, retired. RCK went to Boston. They acquired Note, and they also signed Damon or Demon. I never know how if in computer terms. In computer terms, it's Demon. It's spelt Damon. The Daemon. But yeah, he's their new signing, a new coach that they have on board there with.
He's
with
a tank coach. Tank coach specifically.
Interesting. Bringing a new tank and bringing a new tank coach. They're going for a better front line by the looks of it. Paris Eternal, in turn, of course, lost their head coach, which was Damon, and they hired, or promoted, rather, Fefe, which is my favorite fucking name to say.
Kafafe.
Fefe, as their head coach. So Paris Eternal doing a little bit of switching around as well. Toronto Defiant, they released their coach, Dawn, most boring name of all the names that I've said tonight. They had a DPS, Stellar, retire. So Stellar's gone from Toronto Defiant, but they did hire the Whiz Kid. I am 37, who is a DPS who has arguably had the fastest track of ladder to owl of any player in existence.
That's what people are saying. Less than a month ago, he wasn't on a pro team.
Let me give you a breakdown. Let me give you a breakdown of this guy's fucking career so far. Are you ready? I am 37. On, let's see, the 15th of March, he joined Wave Check OW. On the 19th of March, the TFC NA qualifier, he played 3 matches. On the 23rd of March, he was in the Open Division Match 1. On the 24th, he left WaveCheck. The 25th, he joined Second Wind, GG. On the same day, they beat Mayhem Academy. On the 1st of April, he left Second Wind. And on the 3rd of April, he joined Toronto Defiant.
What a career path.
Wow.
Let's talk about this guy for a second, just a little bit. Firstly, his gamer tag, I'm 37. It actually refers to his favorite hero, McCree, and that's the age of McCree. He is a Korean born, but lives in Canada since 2014, apparently in BC, speaks fluently both in English and Korean, and now he's signed for Toronto Defiant. So that's actually kind of an interesting move for him, that aspect that he lives in Canada.
Yeah.
which will help might give the team some relations with the fans, and also he seems to be a really good player. They know something that we don't.
Somehow, out of all that, I'm most shocked at the fact that I just learned McCree is 37. So, because I'm 36, okay? And McCree
Apparently,
looks a
he
lot
also
older than
has
me.
an alternate ID that's I'm not 37.
Oh, gosh. Anyway,
According to Wikipedia.
good luck to the kid, because that's an either an incredible amount of luck or an incredible amount of hard work.
I
Either
hope
way,
it works out.
props to the
I hope
guy.
it works out for him.
You
That'd
gotta
be an
feel-
amazing story.
You got to feel for asking and stuff, though. Like the kinda, like,
Asking must be like
I don't know.
it's close.
Anyway,
That really sucks for him.
other things that have happened: Washington Justice. They obviously acquired ARC from New York Excelsior. They released their coach Opasil, and they dismissed from team Fossix, which I thought was an interesting way to put that. I suppose it was just fuck off Fossix. We have ARC now, so go have fun wherever you want. And I'll rip through the contenders. People are less familiar with contenders, so I'll be really quick on these ones. There's one or two I might stop on. Obviously, Funny Astro has a 2-way contract, which has him playing for ATL Academy as well as Rain. And now they've kind of changed up the rules on those 2-way contracts. So I mean, they have one of the.
Fusion had Elk play.
Rain
today,
has
so.
one of the best Lucios out there now. So my guess is that they just in case that guy gets sick, they didn't want the whole Boombox Elk situation. They wanted someone that was top tier that could easily jump in and take place. Blank Esports signed Damon as a DPS. Let's see here. Cyclone.
Damon, is that Damon? D-A-E-M-I-N?
That's Damon. Yes, different.
Yes.
Damon,
So the
not
former
Damon,
Dragons
Damon.
player.
Yeah. Cyclone Coupling, they acquired Fallen from Team CC. Gladiators Legion, their FRD, Flex Tank, transferred to Atlanta Reign. Square One signed Proggy, who's a main tank, no relation to Fraggy. And Team CC, Chinese team, obviously transferred Fallen over to Cyclone. Team Envy released Fisher, who's one of the players I actually know from Contenders. So I was like, oh, that's, one of
Not to be confused with Fissure.
yeah, different, yeah. Fischer. Uprising Academy. Mikey stepped down. He's seeking a player position, apparently, which is kind of nice. And they signed Iced, who was...
and this was the person that was supposed to replace Asking.
This is the person that was supposed to replace Asking. XL2, they had Frill step down as a DPS, citing burnout as the reason, so at least they were honest. And Young and Beautiful had a new signing of Blue X, or it might be Blux. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's like the word blue with an X on the end. So he's a flex support, joining Young and Beautiful in the
X-rated blue.
There you go. Blue triple X. So, wow. What a week. And there's one more that I haven't mentioned yet. Sorry, I've got to kind of check my sources here. Yang Xiaolong is finally also out of...
Yang Xiaolong.
I know. He's out of visa hell, and he's on his way to the Chengdu Hunters.
That is a reference to Ruby.
Is it?
Yeah, there's a character named Yang Xiaolong.
Never seen it. Yeah.
In Ruby. That's
awesome.
a Rooster Teeth anime.
There you go. So yeah, Yang Xiaolong is out of visa hell on his way to the Chengdu Hunters. So that is one that missed this comprehensive guide list because I think
Yang Xiaolong's hair is yellow. It was meant to be.
This is literally something that just happened today. So wow.
A lot of things just happened today.
Yeah. I mean, they just started stage 2, and this is all the stuff that's sort of gone on in literally a week or two. So wow. I mean, a lot can change in a week or two in Overwatch League. My only thought is, if this is how crazy it is between stage 1 and stage 2, how crazy is it going to be between stage 2 and stage 3? Because I don't remember
Especially
it being
with
this
the potential
nuts.
meta shift.
Yeah, I don't remember it being this nuts in the first season. Do you remember ever having this many fucking crazy things happen?
There were some crazy things, but not on this level.
1 or 2, and they were always kind of
not
well
like
publicized.
shockers. Some of them happened partway through the stage too.
This felt a little
but this
like,
was just all of a sudden within a few days. It wasn't even through the whole transfer window.
It's just like 3 days.
Just in the past few days on the weekend starting, it was like silly season.
It was
Like chickens running around with their heads cut off. We're talking about
it
here,
was
people.
the red wedding. Everyone just
And
got cut.
you can ask Tom throughout this
Yeah.
whole thing. I'm like, maybe fusions won't be traded because we didn't hear about it happening after. Like, it just kind of died off. No one was talking about it, and they were using fusions in promotional work. And I'm like, maybe he's not going to be traded because he's used in all this promotional work.
Let's get a tilt again. Let's get a tilt.
I'm
There you
freaking out
go.
because I don't
There
want
you
this
go.
hat to be. I don't think I got a good view of it, but I don't want this hat to be irrelevant. That being said, as soon as I heard that Note was being traded, I bought one of his Boston jerseys before they went off the store.
Nothing wrong with that.
Because I'm probably going to buy a Fuel one from him too, because I like the guy.
Oh, yeah.
I actually am going to start watching Fuel probably because they seem like an interesting team. I just really want them to get rid of Taimu.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Like, I like Fuel on the basis that Jane is their coach, and I appreciate Jane. I also hate Fuel based on the fact that Jane is their coach, and he talks shit on my team and won and backed it up. So I'm torn between it. Okay, I have mixed feelings.
He talked shit, but he also complimented Carpe after the match.
Yeah.
So he's not one of those shit talkers who's like, I'm
No,
going to
he
shit
was
talk
all
and
right.
not
He was all right.
just to be a dick.
It did make me feel a little better when he did that. All right. So alongside all the crazy fucking roster changes and everything, we also heard a bit of an update on what Florida Mayhem is trying to achieve. Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
So that was also today. I'm not going to go over it too much, but supposedly Florida Mayhem are going to move to all Korean coaching staff and player roster. And I actually saw in one of the Discords they posted McGravy is actually, he's still with the organization, but he's looking for a new team. So they're shaking it up. Like, they're going to move to an all Korean thing, which at this rate, it doesn't seem like a bad idea. Korea is putting out a lot of talent, and a lot of countries aren't quite on that level yet of putting out these huge talent pools.
Yeah.
And it also gets them in line, all speaking the same language, not having to learn how to speak another language and have these language barriers.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things
It
I
does
have
make
here,
things a bit easier.
This is actually a comment from, I'm not sure exactly who, someone on the organization says, we've faced multiple issues with communication and overall team synergy, in part due to the lack of a common language among players and coaching staff. We've spent a lot of time developing better communication together as a team, but when it comes down to playing on stage, even the slightest miscommunication can result in a loss. It's important that our players are able to focus on improving strategy, effective communication, and teamwork. To that end, we're laying the groundwork for a different direction for Mayhem. With this new direction, we've mutually agreed to part ways with Mineral, our head coach, since the beginning of Overwatch League, as well as we appreciate their hard work and wish them all the best in their future endeavors. So they're serious. They're definitely going for it. Yeah.
And I don't think it's necessarily something we're going to see all the time. We might see it. We've heard whispers of a couple other teams maybe thinking of going all Korean, but I think just...
Here's the thing, like, and I don't want to come off as an asshole in this, but like, and I really appreciate the amazing players that Korea puts out.
And they've got such a good culture for it too.
And they do. I mean, they're an e-gaming
such a
culture.
good fan base. They're not doing anything wrong. They're doing everything right.
They're doing everything right, but it makes me sad because, like, when we were first kind of deciding, and this is a stupid thing to do, but when Overwatch League came around, we were kind of deciding who to support. And Keegan kind of jumped on the Philly train because he's like, they have this player and this player, and he already likes the 76ers.
He likes the city.
Yeah, he likes the city. So he went with Philly, and I was like, well, I guess I should go with London because I'm English, so it makes sense. But then when I saw that the entire London roster had no one from London on it, or even anywhere in England, it made me a little bit sad. And it's not like, here's the thing, it's not that there's a lack of talent in the UK. Fucking look at what happened in the World Cup. You have Fusions now that's dominating as main tank. You have Kip that went all the way over to Guangzhou. You have... fucking Cruz that ended up on Paris Eternal, Boombox. But here's the thing, Boombox at the time was, I think, either him and maybe Shadowburn. Is Shadowburn English?
Shadowburn's Russian.
Oh, he's Russian. My bad. But yeah, so Birdwings though. So anyway, Boombox. Boombox was the only English player that was playing.
There was another one who was signed for Valiant, but he never played. Numb locked.
Yeah, he was the only one that I kind of liked the look of. He was playing a character I enjoyed, so I said, "Fuck it, I'll go Philly," because I was supporting Boombox. And I'm still happy with my decision. Obviously, Philly are a hell of an exciting team to watch, but I do kind of I feel bad because there's a lot of really good European players as well. They're just clearly the fact that communication is an issue, I suppose, is the thing that makes me sad. That you have to have all Korean or all North American or all European. I mean, there's language barriers between the French and the English players, you know?
It's just the talent pool from Korea is so big, and having those mixed rosters, it's possible. Fusion have shown that you can have a mixed roster and do well. They're not always consistent, but other teams are also doing it, like Shock. But it's more difficult, and it's the question of, do you want that investment? And right now, the talent pools from other countries aren't so huge. It's hard to get them all on the same team as well.
That's true.
It's not that we hate to see the Koreans in the league. It's just that they're all there's so much talent, and that's why we're seeing them. And it's really a great thing. I think that the culture over there supports esports way more than it does over here.
That's true.
I actually had someone someone from the Discord was talking, they were talking about a friend from theirs there, and they actually have grants and stuff there where people are supported to chase these things. You just don't see that here as much.
Well,
and I'm sure in the next few years,
it's starting to get
in the next few years, we're going to see that change, especially with them building an arena in Philadelphia.
What a segue!
I don't think we've talked about it yet.
What a segue.
Let's talk about that.
So that's a very good point. There is a $50 million Fusion Arena being built in Philadelphia, purpose-built from the ground up as an esports complex that will seat 3,500 people. That's what fuck you Comcast money looks like, ladies and gentlemen. That is, and it looks.
We hate Comcast, but they're making a pretty fucking dope arena, let's be honest.
It looks amazing. Obviously, it's not only going to be used for Philadelphia Fusion, there will be other things there, but it's their arena. And, so that's going to be where all the home games are played.
So cool.
And they also have special facilities built in there for training. They have just an incredible
production facilities, everything.
Oh my god, yeah. And let's be honest, if anyone deserves a production area, Philly deserve a production area. They're fucking. Did you see the Game of Thrones stage 2 thing they put out? So they redid the entirety of the Game of Thrones intro, but with maps from Overwatch instead. It was amazing. Anyway, so the amount of effort their social media team puts in is insane.
Better than last year, that's for sure.
Yeah. So the arena is set to be completed in January 2021, with construction starting in September this year. The construction should end around December 2020 to prepare the facility for the 4th season of Overwatch League in February 2021. In the meantime,
so excited.
Yeah. In the meantime, the team will compete in the existing location in the Philadelphia market for the 2020 season. There's a possibility there will be multiple arenas used over the course of the 2020 L season, because we know that 2020 is the big, move over to people
transition
going home. Yeah. So in an exclusive interview with Win, Fusion CFO Joe Marsh mentioned that he and franchise owner Tucker Roberts have been working on a location for about a year. We took a bus tour of the city and used watch parties to test out locations, Marsh said. It wasn't until Comcast CEO Dave Scott suggested building the arena in southern Philly that plans to construct the space began in earnest. The location will be south of the Xfinity Live Bar between the city's 3 current sports venues, Lincoln Financial Field, Citizen Bank Park, and the Wells Fargo Center. Marsh and Roberts looked at a number of potential venues before settling on the final spot. Parking and ease of transportations were among the biggest issues considered at the sites they toured. So yeah, that's and if you do get a chance, and of course there'll be links in the description, but if you do get a chance to look at it because it's fucking beautiful.
So let me get this right. They're putting it right near the other major sports stadiums?
Yeah.
That is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Can you imagine this? Little Overwatch is with the big leagues, literally.
Yep.
And not only are they on ESPN, but there's stadiums being built where the other sports stadiums are. And also, I'd like to point out that the Philadelphia teams, other teams, have really seemed to like Fusion and been cooperating with them. Like you see Philly Union, the MLS team, has done some crossover stuff. So the other teams really support them. And you saw Gritty walk out with Fusion. That's the NHL mascot for Flyers. Walk out with Fusion in their first match. So it's a really good sporting culture. I think it'll be good for Philly. And seeing stuff like this makes you think that the culture will change, and we'll see countries taking esports more seriously.
Well, there's now you're getting like high school scholarships for esports and stuff. It's kind of nuts.
So we're on the up.
We're on the up and up. So hopefully, the communication thing, because there's a lot of players that are learning Korean specifically to help with that. Which I think is kind of cool as well. Yeah. With that being said, that's our roundup for actually. One more thing.
Do we have time to talk about our small I'm not going to talk about it very much, but it's just a cute little fun thing.
Okay, go on.
Okay, so if you follow Hangzhou Spark's social media, I think it's on their Twitter. It might be on their Instagram. I don't know if they have an Instagram, but I follow them on Twitter. They do these cute little posters for each match to include a preview poster, and then they have a poster that goes with their win or loss. And they've been explaining their stage 1-1, showing the ones that we didn't see the win or loss for specific matches, and explaining the theory behind it. I just want to explain one that I thought was kind of cute, and it was the one versus Valiant. The poster for the preview shows their character Telly. He kind of is like a TV dude with legs and stuff. He's really cute. About to fight a Valkyrie, and in the Lost poster, it shows the Valkyrie kind of pushing him off, no, I don't like you. In the Win poster, it's them getting married, and there's actually a very interesting lore behind that. Is supposedly the Valkyrie will only marry that who can beat her in combat. And that's the theory behind it. So there's a lot of these ones. Go check them out.
They're amazing.
It's so cute, and they're going to make more probably for this stage.
Their artwork is great, and I'm really excited to see what they come up with as symbolization for some of the teams they haven't touched on yet. You know what I mean? Because they seem to pick really interesting. Because some of them, like Valiant, are kind of easy to pick, but they're when they did London,
it was like Green Arrow.
Yeah. And when they had London, it was kind of like
it was
asteroids almost, with a Spitfire.
It was kind of like
Space
Invaders. What's the game called? Space Invaders, but it was the Telly guy and a spaceship versus a Spitfire. It was really cool. So check those out, and they're becoming a fan favorite team because of stuff like this. I like Spark. I'm probably going to get a Rio jersey soon. But I'm excited. Yeah, I love Spark.
That was that's cool. I like that. They're definitely up there with their social media game as well. And the one thing I was going to mention before we moved on to the personal section here was just this fact alone. At the end of stage 1, the playoffs and the finals were hosted on ABC. Which is a pretty big fucking channel. I mean, ABC puts out a lot of popular content. I think Breaking Bad was AMC, but either way, ABC. No, it is AMC. No, ABC. I'm wrong. ABC. So, and there was a lot of very confused folks on Twitter wondering why there was video games on TV instead of, I don't know, fucking Law and Order or whatever they were expecting. And but at the end of the day, they released the numbers for viewership just on ABC. Not including Twitch, not including everything else, like where most people watch it, and they maintained a consistent viewership of 607,000 for the entirety of it, which is over 500,000 viewers consistently for a fucking video game. By the way, Twitter, that's really good for the first time of it being on a network of that caliber. I mean, they've been on Disney and stuff. Yeah,
that's what some people would say.
So I just wanted to give props because not only did everybody bring their A game to those events, they were really well constructed. Even the casters and everything put in a little bit of extra effort there with some of their outfits. Not Monty. I don't know what the fuck was going on with that, but
I didn't see what Soyu was wearing, but she probably looked amazing as usual.
She looked really good. But yeah, so even you had rappers like Meek Mill and stuff were tweeting about it, saying I got to get me a Overwatch team and stuff. So it's just cool. It was a nice sort of moment for Overwatch.
And some people are won over. Some people who were actually won over. Not everyone's gonna be won over, and that's understandable. But apparently, I heard some story of someone talking about some guy who was like, "What the fuck is this? I don't know," and they won him over by the end of it. So everyone on Twitter won him over.
Presented,
and that's so cool.
And it's hard to watch. When I watched, I was a big Counter-Strike fan. Not so much playing, but watching. I was huge into that, and that's very easy to follow. Right? You go 5 versus 5, kill everybody. When everyone's dead or not dead, plant the bomb explodes. Done. Right? Overwatch is really hard to follow. Like, if you're watching it and you have no idea what's going on in terms of abilities and, you know, specials and things like that, like, you have no idea. It's just like a colorful mess of monkeys and lightning, and like, it's just really hard to follow. So the fact that it did kind of like maintain this viewership for a lot of people that probably had no fucking idea what it was, I think makes it extra impressive, because without knowing about the game and still enjoying it, and the way they present it, where they will go into third-person perspective, they will show an overview map, they will explain why this thing counters this thing, or why this move was a good move. Like, they did a lot of kind of, you know, explaining things for a new audience that actually, like, whilst me and you might have been a kind of bored for those parts, like, I understood why they did it, and I think it helped a lot. I didn't actually
watch the finals.
You're totally fine.
Personal thing.
So yeah. So ABC, great job, everyone involved, and we're really happy about that. So if you are watching this podcast because you first watched Overwatch on ABC or listening to this podcast, welcome. It's a lovely family.
We love you.
We do love you, and we're happy to have you. Moving on from Overwatch League to our personal focus, there are 2 questions for you this week. Question number 1, what is the first character that clicked with you ever?
Am I going first?
Yeah, go.
D.Va.
D.Va. Explain the feeling.
Tracer, but mostly D.Va.
Explain the feeling.
Explain the feeling.
Yeah.
I was like, it was in the beta, I think. I don't know if it was in the beta or just when the game came out, because I think in the beta I was playing mostly Bastion and Tracer. Yeah, I played Bastion back in the day. Guys hate me.
He was an asshole.
I was really
in the beta.
fucking good with him too. But it must have been when the full game came out. And I'm like, oh, cool, this character is a fucking mech, let's play her. And then I started just popping off by early standards. No one knew how to play the game back then, let's be honest. But I had so much fun. I was doing these huge D.Va bombs, and she just clicked with me. I really am... My background, gaming background, is actually racing games. So if I'm driving something, I feel more comfortable. And with D.Va, you're driving a mech, basically. So I kind of had that personal connection, and it just clicked. It was just like, I'm piloting a mech, I'm doing all these flying maneuvers. This goes with my Wipeout experience and my driving experience in games. Wipeout, the video game, not the TV show. Please don't ask me that question. I know you won't, but people in the audience will be like, Wipeout's a fucking stunt show where they jump across walls. Anyway. It's anti-gravity ships, people. But that translated to piloting the D.Va mech through the air. So that kind of clicked with me. So I had that little bit of background, and it just kind of clicked. And then from there, I went to other heroes, it seems.
So
yeah, D.Va's my first.
I'll go next. So the first character that clicked with me, weirdly enough, was Ana. Which nowadays,
yeah, you had a thing. I even drew you as Ana.
Yeah, like, so nowadays Ana is like a character that I still like really enjoy playing, but for some reason, again, it might have just been because it was like earlier days and stuff. For some reason, I was playing her into like comps that should not have had an Ana in them at all.
It's because you wanted to quick scope.
It is. That's what it was. So I came, full disclosure, Overwatch fans, I came from a Call of Duty background. I was a quick scoper. I feel like
Call of Duty noob.
I feel like I'm at, you know, Alcoholics Anonymous right now. Like 500 days since my last quick scope. But no, I used to really enjoy quickscoping in Call of Duty, and then they kind of took it away, and then they brought it back for World War II, and I really enjoyed that. And I used to make funny little compilation videos of me doing it. And then, so I thought, naturally, I'm going to click with Widow, until I learned that you have to hold the button down for several seconds before you can fire a shot with Widow, which kind of is against the rules of quickscoping, right? Ana, not so much, but also Ana has this kind of fantastic ability, not only to quickscope, but also that she can heal and she can hurt people at the same time. So I had a blast with her. Really got like attached to her at the beginning. Still a big fan of Ana. Harder to play her now. I don't know if it's harder to play her or I'm just like better with other heroes because I haven't really been practicing with Ana and my aim is not as good as it used to be. But like the nade and the sleep darts, and I just had such a good time with her kit. Obviously her mobility was an issue, but you know, you work around it, you do what you can. But yeah, she was the first character that actually clicked with me, which I think is a weird first choice because most people it's like Soldier or something, but Ana was the first one. And my second question,
that actually has a bearing on both our styles because D.Va, if you get hyper aggressive with her in the right way, you get success. And what's my style? Hyper-aggression.
Yeah.
And then you went on to more support stuff from Ana, so that makes sense.
Sit in the back and pick people off.
Although you're also an aggressive support, but I'm like hyper-aggressive. I have like this.
I'm an aggressive Lucio. I'm pretty aggressive Zen, but I'm a hella aggressive Lucio. And then the current character that you can use on autopilot, as in you can play the game, have a full-on conversation about the best recipe for mac and cheese, and still win.
Fucking Brigitte.
Yep.
You've seen this firsthand where I'm having a normal conversation. You're like, you just killed everybody. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Oh, everything's dead. Look at that.
I've seen you murder a Zarya without realizing you murdered the Zarya, and then just like be like, huh? Oh yeah, she's dead.
Like, did I kill her? I remember this specifically. This specific thing. Like, it's like, oh, the Zarya's dead. I'm like, who killed her?
It takes me like seven whips or whatever to get a Zarya down. You just went like bash, ba boom, bing, and she was dead. And I was like, the fuck did you just do that? Like,
I play her almost like a fighting game character. I'm not even gonna fucking lie.
So yeah, so Zarya, not Zarya, sorry. So Brigitte is your autopilot character when you just want to not have to think and just hit things. And she's a pretty good character for just not having to think and hitting things because she has a literal.
She's instinct
flail. My instinct character is Moira. I can play her without even considering what's going on. Mostly because. So, and I talk about this on our guide for Moira, but Moira is 100% decision-making. My decisions are usually made several seconds before I do them with Moira. So, like, I've got to the point now where it's not so much that I, like, flick up my arms and go, okay, which orb is best here? Or, like, decide whether I want to heal. I just, like, know what's going to work and what's not going to work. So I'll have it ready to go. And I don't even think about it anymore. I just flick it out there and I'm just, and yeah, I just don't have to think about it. I fade on instinct. I'm rarely killed by any ultimate with Moira just because I can instinctually, as soon as I hear a voice line, I'm gone. If it's a diva bomb, then I'll wait. Then I just fade through it. So yeah, it's very much instinct for me, autopilot for Moira, and that's just it's nice, but at the same time, it does make her boring. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if do you feel the same about Brigitte, where it's kind of like it gets more boring the more autopiloting you are.
If you recall with the 6-stack, how I was playing Brigitte all the time, there was actually at one point where I asked them, "Can I please play Ryan?" Like, I was getting tired of it because. I want to do something that I actually have to think about. It was getting to a point, like, and I'm not a very good person at communication, but my communication on Brigitte was getting really good, and that's scary because I'm terrible at communication. That shows that how little I have to think about playing her, is I can make all these callouts. With Reinhardt, and this is a problem about my play. I'm not saying that that's a good thing that I'm bad at communication, but with Reinhardt, I'm hardly communicating. It's really bad. I'm working on it. I'm really good at Reinhardt, but I'm very bad at calling out what my intentions are and when I'm shattering, and usually it happens like just a bit too late. But I need to work on the communication thing. But if I'm getting really good at communication on a character, that usually means that I don't have to think a lot about playing them.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I want to have to think about it.
You're working on communication. I'm working on awareness. That's my deal. I'm shit with awareness, and trust me, it's an ever uphill battle. Alrighty.
I think Reinhardt's my worst communication character, honestly.
I'm a little autopiloting on Reinhardt nowadays as well. Like, I kind of have to think about some moves, but mostly I'm just kind of like, I just hope everyone's with me.
I actually have to be constantly thinking about it. I love that challenge, honestly.
That's good. That's good. All right, moving on to our hero of the episode, which we have already designated as being our DPS, Sombra. So, Sombra, what's her real name? Do you know?
I forgot. I knew this at one point, but what is it?
Let's start with this. What does Sombra mean in not Spanish?
Is it sad?
Shadow.
Because I think it's somber. That's my
No, I can see that.
I look like a noob. Sorry, I don't know Spanish that well.
Her real name is Olivia Colomar. That's her real name. It's Olivia.
I like that name.
It's a pretty name, right? And she is 30 years old, in case you were wondering. Her occupation
she doesn't look it.
No, she looks like early 20s.
I want to know what her makeup routine is.
Early 20s.
Skincare routine.
Occupation,
Sorry, skincare routine.
hacker, obviously, everyone knows that. Affiliations, she was formerly affiliated with a Mexican gang, Los Muertos, and then she's currently affiliated with a Overwatch gang, I suppose, Talon.
Overwatch gang. Not really Overwatch gang. They're the bad guys.
The bad gang. She is voiced by the extraordinary Carolina Ravassa in the English version of the game, who I have had the pleasure of meeting, and she is very, very lovely. She is absolutely my favorite voice actor, I guess, that I've spoken to so far.
She's really cool.
She's just super cool, and I love
I
how
didn't
she
meet
brings...
her. I kind of watched you guys meet her because I was way too shy.
Well,
but she seemed.
This year, when we go back to our con that we all go to, Symmetra's going to be there, and you're going to meet her. Did you not know
I'm going to
that?
meet her?
Yeah, I'm going to make you meet her.
Oh, are you?
Yep.
Yeah, you have to drag me into these things because I won't do it myself. But
I'll do it.
I will be like...
You'll appreciate it
I hate
afterwards.
your character sometimes, but you're amazing. I actually
That's
like
exactly
playing
what I'm going to say to her, by the way. I fucking hate your character.
I love
but
playing
you are
her.
very nice.
I actually kind of want to make a guide for Symmetra, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, do it. Alrighty, so let's talk about Sombra. So Sombra has several abilities, one of which is a passive. Now, a passive ability in Overwatch, if you're not paying attention, is an ability that happens all the time. You don't have to do anything to make it happen. What's her passive ability?
It's the Opportunist.
Opportunist, and what does that mean?
It means when a character is critical, aka below 50% health, I think is critical, you see them. Yep. Wherever they are on the map. And you don't see it in the same way that you would see an infrasight. Infrasight's just an outline. You actually see a whole kind of like red lines.
It reminds me of Predator. You know what I mean? Like infrared almost. Like
yes.
They're kind of like shadowy, like body heat or something that you can see. I'm not sure. It's a little different. So yeah, it does reveal enemy health bars that are below 100% to Sombra only. And this when they're 50%.
Only to Sombra.
Only to Sombra. No one else can see it. So that's her passive ability. But that's good because basically what it means is that if you are in any given area and you're invisible, you're just, shimmying around the place, you can instantly find the most appropriate target for a quick death. So, if Zen's in the back and old glowy boy is there and he's got his little shimmery stuff going on through a wall, you know that if you creep up on him, you can probably cap him pretty fast.
And you can also track enemy movements with it.
You can. Yeah, you can
because
warn
like
your
I said
teammates.
in the guide, there's a whole guide, so I won't go into too much detail about it. But you can see if there's multiple people low, you can see where they all are. Secondly, if you see them go behind a wall and you know there's no health pack there and they got healed, there's a healer there. So you know that there's a healer who's has line of sight or is right there with them.
I think it's important to point out that Sombra is excellent for these types of opportunities of scouting things and discovering information. Information is power in a game like Overwatch, and she is very, very useful for that. Specifically, not just because of the fact she can be fucking invisible girl and just run around the field looking at everything, but because of things like that where she can make judgment calls based upon her passive as well, which is kind of cool. She carries a machine pistol. Now, I've had an argument with someone about this before. It is not an Uzi. It may look like an Uzi. It may sound like an Uzi. It is not an Uzi. It is a machine pistol. Two people went fucking at each other's throats on our guide for this, which I recommend you read.
I saw that.
Very funny.
Yeah. What are you guys arguing about,
So, the machine pistol is a rapid-fire hit scan. The damage is 2.4 to 8. The fall-off range is 15 to 35. Spread angle, max 2.7 degrees. Rate of fire, 20 rounds per second. Ammo, 60. And reload time, 1.5 seconds. And, of course, it can headshot. So, yeah, basically, it's a very, very... It's kind of like it's kind of like one tracer gun, but more ammo.
An interesting bit of trivia, if you look at the ammo counter, it counts in hexadecimal for most skins. That is a base 16 counting system often used in computer stuff.
That's the nerdiest thing anyone's ever said to me. Thank you.
I understand it too.
I know.
It's correct. I've checked it.
All right, I believe you. All right, so alongside her machine pistol, which is her only weapon, by the way, she also has a pretty handy ability with her glove, which is the fact that she can hack things, including people. So her hack has a max range of 15 meters, The casting time actually has changed, I believe, but it says 0.65 on here, so that's what I'm going with. And as far as duration,
faster.
yeah, as far as duration, enemies and Bob, 6 seconds. Health packs, 60 seconds. This is how long it lasts. And other, 10 seconds. So other would be like turrets and things like that. Cooldown, 8 seconds for enemies and Bob, 4 seconds for a health pack, although that may have changed, and 2 seconds for...
No, 4 seconds is correct for the health pack.
Oh, is it 4? Okay.
Yeah, I've been playing her a lot recently.
2 seconds for like shitty equipment and things like that. Right. So here's a couple extra bits around hacking as well, because I mean, hacking essentially disables your opponent from using abilities and their ultimate too. That's the base factor. Of
and it
what
might cancel an ability that's in progress. It depends. There's a whole list. You can check it out. But yeah,
I'm going to go through some of the kind of more interesting parts of her hacking. So taking damage does interrupt hack, and it will go on a 2-second cooldown. If hack is interrupted without taking any damage, it does not go on a cooldown. So by interrupted without taking damage, I mean if you're Reinhardt, you turn around with a shield and you're interrupting it, but she's not taking damage. So,
or if line of sight is broken.
Correct. Barriers break line of sight instantly. Walls also break line of sight, but there is a brief grace period where hack can continue, much like Mercy's beam. Although I think Mercy's beam is probably a lot more forgiving than the hack.
Yes.
Hacked enemies cannot activate their abilities. For passive abilities, hack only disables the ones that require a button to press. For transformations, hack cancels transformations from normal abilities, but not from ultimate abilities. Hack also turns off Lucio's song, which is the saddest hack of all time when you're Lucio. It's like literally the worst thing that can happen to you as Lucio.
It's so funny to watch.
It's not funny when you're Lucio. And hack
it's so funny for the enemy team. They're like, look at this Lucio.
It's sad.
He's useless.
Can't do anything. Hack does not affect weapons, so you can get hacked and still shoot, which is, you know, the saving grace, I suppose. Hacked enemies have their health bar revealed to Sombra's team for 20 seconds. If their ultimate ability is ready, an icon appears on top to show this. Hacked health packs respawn 4 times faster, 2.5 seconds for small health packs, 3.75 seconds for mega health packs. Can be seen through walls to allies within 30 meters.
I think they took that part away. I'm not sure, but
this
I haven't been seeing it.
This is pretty fucking up to date. I did notice that you have Baptiste on here as
I've been noticing it
well.
today, though. I was not seeing my health packs through walls. I don't know if that's a glitch or if I was just being stupid and not seeing it, but I think they might have taken that part away. I'm not sure.
Not sure. Health packs cannot be hacked before the game starts. That's an interesting point, because I was going to try that a bunch of times when I first started playing her.
That would be a bit unfair.
Bit OP, yeah. Imagine hacking like one right by their fucking... No, that's not fair. Hack can also target the following. Ashe's Bob, Baptiste's Immortality Field, Orisa's Supercharger, Torbjorn's Turret, and with the exception of Bob, they are all disabled for 10 seconds. Bob is 6, as we mentioned before.
He's like the carrot.
Non-heroes that are hacked have a skull above them that drains over time. This represents the duration of the hack, and it is possible to target something that is already hacked. In that case, the duration resets. Mean is what that's called, just consistently hacking.
I love doing it. I'm a fucking asshole.
Alrighty, so one of her other abilities is stealth. So her movement speed is plus 50%. She goes invisible, obviously, and this is what we're talking about with stealth.
With a dramatic hand wave.
Yes, good noise as well. It's kind of like a lightsaber. Area of effect, 2-meter radius for detection.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
You can be detected when you are invisible. There was a brief period of time where you may, for like flicker into existence, and the enemy can see you, which usually ends very poorly for you. Casting time, 0.7 seconds. That's both stealthing and unstealthing. Pro tip on the unstealthing, something we learned recently, is that an emote will unstealth you without any noise or voice lines.
I tested that recently.
It's very cool.
I don't know if it's since the most recent update. They might have fixed it, but
it's super
I was
cool.
able to do it.
Yeah, you just break into a little dance. She doesn't make any noise when she's dancing, so you can like get out of stealth and not, you know, give your position away, which is cool. The duration is infinite. It's the infinite infinity symbol.
It didn't used to be, but now it is.
It did not used to be, but now you can literally be invisible for the entire game if you want to, although you wouldn't do much if you were. And the cooldown is 6 seconds to be able to go invisible again. So that's that. Let's hear some interesting facts on stealth.
I don't think you mentioned the fact that she can't shoot while in stealth. She can't shoot while in stealth. Trying to shoot will cancel it.
I'm getting there, sir. While stealthed, that doesn't sound like that should be pronounced that way. Sombra cannot be targeted by auto-targeting attacks like turrets, biotic orb, deadeye, etc., unless she's detected. Sombra becomes detected if there is an enemy within 2 meters of her, or through abilities such as Sonic Arrow or Infrasight. In case of the former, only the nearby enemy detects Sombra, but in case of the latter two, the entire enemy team detects Sombra. Detected message will appear at the top of Sombra's screen. The cooldown triggers after the ability is deactivated, and the sound effect and voiceover distance is 15 meters, alongside what you said, that she cannot shoot people or capture points. But yeah, so that sound effect and voiceover for de-stealthing is 15 meters away, so using that emote trick is actually like pretty handy dandy.
Little side note, if you have a colorblind mode on for your friendly UI, it might also be for enemy UI, it screws up stuff. The detected message will be transparent except for the outlines.
Really?
It really sucks. Overwatch, work on your freaking colorblind modes and also add subtitles to the game. Accessibility. Anyway, I have a colorblind mode on even though I'm not colorblind, just to make it more visible.
Exciting.
My friendly UI is yellow.
I like that. I haven't tried colorblind mode yet. I
kind of
want to do the
except there are some glitches with it still. Like Symmetra's, an enemy Symmetra's barrier looks blue, but or it looks red. No, sorry, it looks blue. Sorry, the enemy Symmetra's barrier looks kind of blue, and it's hard to tell that it's enemy Symmetra thing.
That's weird.
Anyway,
Alrighty. One of her other abilities is Translocator. Her only other ability is an arcing projectile. It has 5 health. Does have health. Can be destroyed. It is infinite if it's not destroyed. Never used to be. Cooldown. What was it, like 15 seconds used to last? 30 seconds?
Okay, the Translocator used to last time and also couldn't be destroyed, I don't think. No, that was the trade-off.
There was like a time limit to it, yeah. The cooldown is 4 seconds if it's used or destroyed, and 2 seconds if it's cancelled. So both enemies and Sombra herself, using Interact, can destroy the Translocator. There is an ability icon for cancelling it. The Translocator bounces off walls, but not slopes, and Sombra has a very brief moment of invincibility upon translocating. So before we get into her ultimate, which is a lot we can say about that, what would you describe as Sombra's basic playstyle?
Basic playstyle is disruption.
Disruption.
Your goal as Sombra, and I mentioned this in the guide, is to basically disrupt whoever on the enemy team's abilities pose the biggest threat to your team. And this might change, even if it's the same comp, it might change depending on the match because it might be another character who's using their abilities more effectively. You have to disrupt that person and make them not able to use their abilities. Key targets are Doomfist. Doomfist goes into your backline and you hack him, he's useless. He's going to get burnt. Hammond, also, he can't move. He can just walk around in ball form, and he can shoot you still, but he's a big target. You just have to fire that machine pistol and that fucker is going to be blasted out of his little ball. But yeah, just disrupt whoever it is. You can hack Mercy out of a res. It actually will stop the res if you do it fast enough. Farah will stop being able to fly as easily. She can still use her regular fly, but she can't boost up into the air. So yeah, disrupt. Disrupt whoever's abilities are the biggest threat to your team.
Bye-bye Bastion in Sentry mode. Is
also Bastion.
Yeah, that's a good one. So essentially how most people will play Sombra is quite literally find a mega health pack close by, throw a translocator, go invisible, stalk somebody, hack them, kill them, translocate when you're getting in trouble, rinse, repeat from the majority of the match until you reach your ultimate, which is
EMP.
EMP does 10,000 damage against barriers and shields. It has an area of effect of 15 meters. The casting time is 0.5 seconds. The duration is the same as hack. And the charge required is 1,250 points to do it. So, Sombra passively generates 1% ult charge per every 2.5 seconds. In addition to everything Hack can hack, EMP also hacks Symmetra's sentry turrets, Symmetra's teleporter, and Wrecking Ball's proximity mines for 10 seconds. They must be within Sombra's line of sight, ignoring barriers. EMP inflicts 10,000 damage to all barriers and shields in the area. EMP also destroys Baptiste's amplification matrix. If Zarya projects a barrier on a target with shields, like herself, the barrier protects the shields, but the target will still be hacked. Unlike other ultimate abilities, Sombra alerts her entire team, regardless of distance from her, that she has used her EMP, which is one of the most depressing things in the world when everyone's dead and you hear Abaganda las luces, or whatever the fuck it is. This is done by Sombra's image appearing in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen to all allies, accompanied by a radio transmission sounding EMP activated. Sombra cannot gain ultimate charge until 6.5 seconds after EMP is activated, i.e. when her hack wears off on enemy heroes, and Sombra receives a small vertical boost from activating EMP. So, let's talk about EMP. OP, not OP, interesting. Where does it fit in the kind of criteria of ultimates? Like,
I would say it's not OP because it's a coordination ult. It requires follow-up from your team. It's not something that you can use yourself and just get a bunch of kills because it really doesn't last all that long. It's something that's fast action. You need to follow it up. You usually can't make much use of it just yourself as Sombra because her damage output isn't huge. It's nice, but it's not huge.
Yeah.
So it's really something you need to coordinate with your team, or just it's mostly used to engage. Sometimes it's used reactively against defense, especially against Lucio's ult.
Yes, because if you use it against Lucio's ult, you will instantly negate his ult, which is the shittiest. Again, poor Lucio. Like, she is a hard counter to Lucio. I always kind of put it in the category of Graviton. Like, it's kind of like the same thing. Like, with a Graviton, similar principle, right? It's a zoning ult to an extent, but it requires follow-up. It requires your team to kind of like throw dragons in there or whatever you want to do. EMP kind of functions much the same manner. Best combined with
usually self-destruct is the big one. It can also be combined with if the enemy's really grouped up, Earth Shatter. Earth Shatter usually requires another ult as well sometimes. So you might be using too many with that. But usually self-destruct and EMP. And what a lot of people do with self-destruct EMP is they usually throw the EMP first and then the self-destruct. But an even better thing is to throw the self-destruct, let them get in position to block it. Like, have the Reinhardt be like, get behind my shield. It's okay, guys. EMP him right before it goes off. You kill all of them.
It's a pretty popular tactic, and it's always impressive. Like, I'm never sad at watching an EMP, self-destruct combo. They're always fun.
One requires a bit more coordination than the other, though, I might
this is true.
say.
Alrighty, so let's talk a little bit about the lady herself. So we're going to go into a little bit of backstory here, so please bear with me. One of the world's most notorious hackers, Sombra uses information to manipulate those in power. Sombra's skills include computer hacking and cryptography. These are activities she greatly enjoys to the point where the desire to get past locks and solving mysteries is ingrained in her personality. She is a known associate of Reaper, specializing in espionage and intelligence assessment. She is equipped with devices that allow hacking of technology just through touch. This includes a cybernetic graft implanted along her spine, which basically makes her a living computer. She is a loner emotionally, finding it difficult to make friends outside coercion. Her personal calling card is a sugar skull. There's a little bit about her. It is cool. Long before she took up the alias Sombra, Olivia Colomar was among the thousands of children who were left orphaned in the aftermath of the Omnic crisis. With much of Mexico's infrastructure destroyed, she survived by utilizing her natural gifts with hacking and computers. She likewise proved adept at manipulating individuals to suit her own ends. After Colomar was taken in by Mexico's Los Muertos gang, she aided it in a self-styled revolution against the government, performing hacks against said government on their behalf. Los Muertos believed that the rebuilding of Mexico had primarily benefited the rich and influential, leaving behind those who were most in need of assistance. Commissioner Rivera was one such example. When she brought him a basket of bread straight to his desk, which gave her the opportunity to access his computer, she came to realize that knowledge was power, and so she kept hacking. Politicians, corporations, governments, famous people, all were in her domain of inquiry. The retrieval of information became an addiction, and her hacks became more audacious over time. Following her many conquests, Calamari was supremely confident in her skills, but she was caught unprepared when she stumbled into the web of a global conspiracy, one that had also noticed her. With her security irreparably compromised, Calamari was forced to delete all traces of her identity and went into hiding, which is when she then got her cybernetic raft and re-emerged as Sombra. Cool story? I think she has one of the cooler backstories of any of the heroes in the game, honestly. Like,
and supposedly she's not totally a loner. Apparently she's friends with Baptiste.
Yeah, because they were both left orphaned in the aftermath of the Omnic Crisis, which I'd like to point that out.
And they were both part of Talon.
True.
Except one isn't anymore. But apparently she's still friends with him.
I feel like she's a side switcher. I feel like when they advance the lore, which, you know, it's been 3 years.
She's on her own side. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
She's with Talon because it benefits her right now. And that's the really interesting thing about Sombra's character, is that she's a bad guy, but not for the sake of being a bad guy. Yeah. She kind of is like, I'm going to do this for me, and this is what benefits me right now. So if it so benefits her to join Overwatch, she probably will. But will she stay with them? Only if it benefits her.
It's a little bit like Moira's...
She's like a chaotic neutral.
Yeah, yeah. She's got Moira's moral compass, I think. Like, whatever gets me what I need is what I'm going to do. Which I think is kind of... They're very similar in that sense. But yeah, it's... she's a really, really cool character. She's one of my favorite characters in the game.
And because she's so computer-oriented, I actually click with her a lot.
Okay.
I mean, the hexadecimal thing. Who else knew that?
I definitely did not. So let's go with... Okay, let's go with some fun trivia for Sombra, just to sort of top off our last part before we get into the bits and pieces. So, okay. So first of all, like, everyone should know this by now, but if you didn't know, the announcement of Sombra led to an ARG, which is an alternate reality game. So basically, they sent people on this wild goose chase across the internet to try and learn who the hero was going to be that was about to be released, which has since been dubbed as one of the worst fucking releases of a hero ever, because they did all this crazy cryptic crap to basically, you know, just release a hero. Like, nowadays, it's like, you know, Baptiste was like nothing. It was like, there's a hero coming. They showed like one weird document about him, and his name was on it. That, you know, like, we knew who we were getting, and we got him, and it was, you know, it was
also
fine.
had some hexadecimal, back to the hexadecimal stuff, but they had something that showed hexadecimal on the screen. I got some people to decode it. I could have decoded it too, but I didn't have the time at the time, and it said Baptiste is what it said. That was the only discernible thing on it.
Interesting.
So they're not as fancy anymore.
Alrighty, there's some cool concept art that you can find, so I'll share that afterwards. But here's some trivia. Sombra is Hero 23, and the second new hero to be added to the game. She was right after Ana, I believe. Sombra is a Spanish word meaning shadow or shade, is the other alternative meaning of that. Oh, look. The ammo counter on Sombra's machine pistol is in hexadecimal, and as such reads 3C when the magazine is full. The Halloween Terra loot boxes have candies with the Sombra skull icon on the wrapper. Michael Chu has indicated that Sombra considers Reaper and Widowmaker to be genuine friends of hers, but that the friendship is complicated. Sombra is also the only hero that can have another hero's highlight intro appear in her own. Her hacking highlight intro has another hero's highlight intro as a prelude before it, which is the most infuriating play of the game.
Biggest fucking bait ever.
Yeah.
We've all had it happen where we think we get play the game, but
yeah,
she gets it.
Yeah, that really does piss me off.
It's really awkward if you're in the same party with the person who stole it, because when you're like, fuck you!
The skull used in Sombra's icon refers to the art used for skulls in Mexico's Dia de la Muerte, Day of the Dead festival. Unlike most heroes, Sombra uses her right hand for the quick melee attack instead of the left hand used by most of the heroes. Sombra's real name wasn't revealed until Zarya's comic, Searching. Sombra's favorite drink is mezcal. A Sombra Funko Pop figure will go on sale in 2018. That's past. A Sombra Neo Droid will go on sale in Q1 2019. That's also passed, I think, although I haven't seen it. Sombra's childhood teddy bear, Arturito, is named after a Spanish nickname for the Star Wars character R2-D2. That's a fun one. I like that one a lot. There you go. So that's Sombra. So let's get into our favorite part of the podcast. Let's go with favorite voice lines for Sombra, and you have to try and do it in the Sombra voice.
Okay, so favorite voice line on its own is, I'd love to stay and chat, but I'm not going to.
Yes.
But I also like to combo this one, so there's two kind of honorable mentions. I'd love to stay and chat, but I need a drink. I'm doing it in a really bad accent. Or, this one really fucks with people, by the way. It's a Christmas line that I combo with it. I'd love to stay and chat, but I know who's been naughty. And then another voice line I like, and it's not one that you can activate. It's if you go on a kill streak, she goes, "Ha! Malari fe!" Which means, "Ha, I did it." It sounds so cool when she says it.
So, fun fact for Sombra. So we interviewed, we mentioned earlier, but we interviewed Carolina Ravassa for our channel, and right after the interview, we had said, like, she asked us to say her alt line in Spanish, because no one can pronounce it properly. So I, along with Keegan, got the chance to attempt to say it, and
let's be honest, you guys both purposely butchered it because that was the goal of the video.
I didn't purposely. Honestly, I didn't
Keegan
know.
did. Keegan definitely did.
Yeah, I don't think he knows what it is either, honestly. But yeah, so basically, her voice line is "Apagando las luces."
Apagando las luces.
Yes, the luces being, it makes me go luces. I sound like I have a speech impediment when I do it. I can't do it. What it means is turning off the
Italian,
lights.
I can kind of do it.
Yeah, it's like turning off the lights is what she's saying, or turn off the lights, or something like that. So we're on Carolina Ravassa's video saying that terribly. So therefore, it is now one of my favorite voice lines of hers. But I still can't say it, so I'm not even going to try.
Apagando las luces.
No, do it. Do it again.
Apagando las luces.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
I'm doing it too much of male voice.
One of my personal favorites is, "Everything can be hacked, and everyone." I like that one. That's kind of cool. Also, I'm guessing there's no chance we can take care of this quietly, is there?
That one's not an active one. That shows up before match.
It's just,
but I really love it.
I like it when she just says that. Yeah, so that's definitely one of my favorites. I'm trying to...
hamster one.
Yeah, I'm taking a little look, because some of my favorite ones for her are not necessarily like voice lines. Obviously, Boop is, it's a good one. And I love that they threw in the obvious hack the planet. Yeah. So that's some of my favorite. Squishing a bug too. Just like squishing a bug. I like that one a lot.
Again, another computer thing. But the interaction with Hammond is something like, so they're expecting me to work with a rodent or something. I don't get paid enough for this.
She's a fun character, and she has some very fun lines. Okay, let's talk about favorite skins.
So, favorite skins. Currently...
You can do your league first. I know you like to do the league skins first.
Ones, I really like the Boston Uprising just because I love their colors. I honestly love the Boston Uprising colors, but also... the other two I really like. It used to be Fusion was my favorite, but not anymore. And not because I don't like Fusion. It's just the colors of Fusion can be kind of meh, but the jacket looks cool. But now Chengdu Hunters looks really cool. The jacket, the yellow is kind of weird, but her leggings are bronze on that skin. It looks fucking amazing. And also, Toronto Defiant looks pretty sweet on her, especially if a gold gun, which I have. So those are my favorite league skins.
What about your regular favorite skins?
It would be the Los Miatos.
Los Muertos. That's
where
a good
she
one.
has the neon green skull on her face. I
That is
really
a good
like
one.
that skin.
Yeah. I like
Also, I like Talon. I don't really like her hair on Talon so much, but she does kind of look like a
it's
mom.
I want to speak to your manager haircut, isn't it? It's,
Yes, that's
yeah.
it.
I like
It
Talon a lot.
It doesn't fit with her very well.
He
I do like the color.
I
of
do
it.
like it just because it like I like all the Talon skins because it just like they're like earlier versions and stuff. But I like Virus. I think Virus is pretty cool. It's kind of plain, but I like her hair color in that. It's like the white with the pink, you know.
It's
And
nice. So.
my favorite, the one that I was using before I switched to all Philly skins for everything, was Demon Hunter, which was actually the
that
BlizzCon
one, I forgot about that
2018
one.
exclusive.
I love that one. And
Uh,
that one changes her voice line too, where she says, instead of apagando las luces, she says obscuridad testera, which means
What's that
like,
mean?
what was it again? It's like,
fuck these demons or something.
let me look it up, but I think it's like
I got no fucking idea.
banishing them to darkness.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Something like that. It's something of that nature. I'm not going to look it up because it'll take too long, but it's something like you're banished or something.
So yeah, that one will get a full release if it hasn't already. I'm not sure, honestly. It will get a full release for everybody, but for the time being, it was a BlizzCon exclusive for 2018. You had to have the what do they call
online pass?
The online pass, which I'm a sucker for that stuff, so I picked that up.
I literally bought the online pass just for that. I spent however many fucking dollars on it just for one skin.
I bought it I love watching the panels, so I bought it for that, but the skin was a happy bonus. Okay, place in the meta. Now, this is actually one of the more interesting place in the meta conversations that we've had,
especially right now,
because she is one of people's chosen go-tos to fight goats by replacing D.Va with Sombra. Talk about that a little bit, if you would.
See, this is the interesting part, because you're giving up the ability to eat grabs, which is really difficult, so it doesn't always happen.
True. And
but
mitigate
you're also
damage. It's not just grabs. Like, there's a lot of damage mitigation that goes with defense matrix.
But the whole disrupting the Reinhardt repeatedly, and I think that's usually who they target, if I recall. That screws up goats.
D.Va, they tend to go after D.Va more, I think. But yeah,
yes, they disrupt the D.Va a lot. They disrupt the D.Va, the Reinhardt,
Lucio.
They switched up, but they usually get the flex player, the D.Va player, because the D.Va player knows how annoying Sombra is, so they kind of know how to play her from that.
Right.
And that's an interesting thing about Overwatch, is if you play someone and you're noticing that you're being countered by a certain character, try playing that character and you'll figure out why.
That's a really good point. No, that's a really good point. And also, something I read today was along those lines. There was a guy who posted, I think it was on Reddit. You know, I'm a Reddit whore. But there's a guy that posted on Reddit saying that he had climbed something like 1,500 SR in like a couple of days. And maybe like a week or something. But the reason why was because he was playing characters like Genji into Moira without realizing like how hard of a counter that Moira is to Genji. So he then went into QP and would play Moira just to learn like how easy it is to fuck with the Genji, right? So then he ended up becoming like a Moira main because he really enjoyed playing Moira, and suddenly he started climbing. And it was just like every time that he hit a roadblock in terms of, okay, well now I'm being countered by this person, he'd go to QP, play that person, figure it out, and then take him into comp and just dominate with him. It was a really interesting kind of strategy, I guess. But yeah, solid point.
But yeah, that's the idea, I think, behind putting your flex player. The flex player is supposed to be able to play all these different roles, but a lot of the time, and I think they actually mentioned this in the league, they're putting them on the Sombra because they know how to disrupt a D.Va specifically, and they're usually playing D.Va. But I've seen Meko do very well on Sombra.
He's one of the better ones out there. But I was just going to say, in general, I think her place is as the current best counter to goats in the league. I think she's the current best counter, because
we still have to see later in the week how things develop. But for now.
But right now, for people that can play her well, they can build up EMP like nothing, just real fast. You literally have an EMP a minute if you play her well enough. And an EMP on goats is a wipe. It's like if you follow up on it, it's a fucking wipe, because instantly all the abilities, all the shields, all that lovely like health and stuff just goes out of the window. And it's just like, okay, fucking converge. They don't even necessarily need ults to partner with it, although, you know, Diva Bombs obviously do help, but you can't partner with a Diva Bomb when you're Sombra most of the time, unless you run a very interesting variation. But things like Earth Shatter, that kind of stuff, like no shields means easy Earth Shatter, means everyone's on the floor.
And really, the only counter to it is if your Zen has to place himself far away so that he doesn't get hit by it, and then he has to have trance.
That's one of my favorite things about that I've learned, is playing against a Sombra when she has EMP. If you're Lucia or Zen, you need to hide. You need to support your team, but you need to hide from the instant area of where the majority of your team is playing, so that when that EMP blasts, you can come flying out as Mr. Glowy Boy and save everybody, or come in and drop the beat real fast after.
It's a bit harder on Lucio because you can't heal from range.
It is true, but you can maybe help them survive an onslaught.
You still, just for those moments, if you notice the Sombra, which is hard because she can turn invisible, but if you hear her, just back up.
Yeah, and Lucio is pretty fast, so he can escape pretty well. But yeah, so Sombra right now, in my humble opinion, is the biggest counter to Goats, and people that play her well play her spectacularly well in League. And yeah, she's just all around a very, very meta-friendly character. Between her and Doomfist, those are the two things that first started to look like they were tilting the meta out of Goats, and then they nerfed Doomfist. And Sombra was someone that you had to kind of have a specialist in, and you had to decide if you wanted to give up your diva to play Sombra, but some teams have done it spectacularly well. So yeah, that's kind of, I think she's in a pretty good spot. I think she's stronger than ever.
She's honestly, just in the ladder play at least, when I have to play DPS, I play Sombra. Largely because I have that Diva background and I know disrupting abilities.
It's good shit. It's good shit. And lastly,
my win record on her this season, I've only played like 4 matches, it's like 98%.
Dude, you don't even want to see my Torbjorn win rate right now. It's ridiculous. Yeah, anyway. Did you see, by the way, this is a side note before we finish up. I think Mangachu did a Torbjorn one-trick account called $40. I don't know why. He did a Torbjorn one-trick account, placed on 3.6, and made it to 4,500 in a one like solid go, one-tricking Torbjorn the entire way.
There was a funny tweet.
It's insane.
Speaking of Mangachu on Torbjorn, Swimmer, who is a support for Boston Academy and who's also active in the Owl Fans United server, Swimmer was like, okay, it's really scary to see Mangachu with his hammer running at you. So Swimmer said that, and I'm like, wow.
I take it as a personal challenge to destroy every baby diva with my hammer if I can. Like, I'm just like, I could probably take her. So I'll go full armor and everything, and then just start, you know. Anyway. Lastly, if you could, would you make any tweaks to Sombra to improve her without breaking her?
The only tweak I was thinking of making for her is, and this could be just countered by using stealth more effectively, but I wish that when you unstealth, there was no cooldown to start doing something. That's the only thing, because it really bothers me sometimes. It feels stupid that you have to either decloak far away or just hope that they don't react to you, because it feels
is that kind of fair to poor Zen in the back that has no chance of defending himself without hearing her de-stealth animation?
The thing is, so many times I'll go after him and he'll just turn around and his whole team will turn around and immediately murder me. It's just like, even though my team's right there, somehow I still get destroyed. So it just feels, or if that cooldown was just a bit faster, that's the only thing.
I could see that. I could see a little bit faster. I personally think that there needs to be a warning sign that she's there and she's doing stuff, but I don't think it has to be as long as it is. You're right.
It just feels kind of like, let me shoot. So, but you can't get around that with the emote thing for now. But that also takes time.
One of the thoughts that I had was maybe combining her passive with EMP. So when she does EMP, everything becomes visible, not just like low health, because, you know, that's fine, but like everything has that shimmery predator effect, but like to everyone on your team. So for the 10-second duration of EMP, but not just people. turrets, like anything that's there, like let's say Hammond balls even becomes visible.
That would be interesting just to put on hack in general as well.
Yeah, I mean that would be good to put on hack. Yeah, but it just kind of like that way. I don't know. I just feel like it would be. It's almost like a weird cheap version of Infrasight though is the only problem I have with it. But I feel like if there was that little added part to it, then at very least, even if you didn't get any value out of the EMP itself, you'd get a little bit of value of intel, which is she's all about intel. So, because I think Widowmaker deserves a better ult. I'm gonna say that right now. I think her ult sucks, and she deserves like some kind of an ult, even if it's just like 10 seconds where body shots kill you, like whatever, right? But I feel
10
like
seconds where body shots kill. No, thank you.
No. I mean, there's players or heroes that have worse fucking things than that. You just dodge for 10 seconds, right? No different to McCree. So with her, I think the only thing I'd like to see is maybe with hack. That's a good idea, but also with EMP that like everyone on your team gets that vision that she has when she pulls that off. I think that'd be cool. Outside of that, honestly, I'm not that fussed. I feel like she's in a pretty good spot. There's not a lot you could do.
She's another one who's in a good spot.
Maybe reload faster, but then that would be unfair to those DPS or those supports on the back line.
Her damage output is kind of low as well, but I don't know if that's really a problem because the thing with Sombra is just to be more effective with your damage rather than put out huge numbers. So I don't know if it should be buffed.
I don't think so because I feel like if you're invisible, you can creep up behind people and disable all of their abilities. You better fucking earn that kill afterwards. You know what I mean? Like you have so many things, so many Janova says like when you're fighting you have to put yourself at the most advantageous position to take the fight, whether it's high ground or whatever it might be, whether there's cover close to you, a health pack close to you, you put yourself in the most advantageous position to win that 1v1. She's fucking invisible, can creep up behind you and hack your abilities away. She's always in the most advantageous position in any fight. So to give her like more power to her gun would be super OP, I think. I think like right now, like I can barely survive a Sombra attack with a Zen if my aiming is on point that day. Or if I'm in Moira or like whatever, you know what I mean? Or I might be lucky to just like scare her off with some Lucio shots that go close to her head. She might like translocate fearing that I will take her out. So yeah, I think that one should stay kind of where it is. But
yeah. I don't disagree. It's just like it's sometimes weird when you're playing her and you don't even have like silver damage. But then you have to think, how effective am I being with that damage? Because hero damage is not the be all end all of DPS. Usually it's a good measure.
Yeah.
But for Sombra, don't measure yourself on how much damage you're doing. Measure yourself on how many hacks you're getting off and if you're getting any value out of it.
Yeah, the value is the big thing there, I think, because she's a character that combines well with the team in terms of giving you, as a team, the advantage. So, if you can pull off those hacks on the Reinhardt shield, if you can disable that Diva, if you can, shut down that Zen with the EMP and get an instant first kill on the Zen, those are the things you should be looking to do as a Sombra.
Also, tips for people who are Tracer mains but can't play Tracer right now, try out Sombra because her aiming, she's like tactical Tracer. She actually has a lot of similarities with Tracer as far as the tracking, and the gun is even very similar. The gun is like one Tracer pistol, as we said before. So it's really similar, and once you learned hacking, you'll be golden. With your good mechanics that you already have from Tracer as far as aim, that will carry over to Sombra, and you'll be very effective with the weapon. You just have to learn the tactics.
You also have a better chance of fucking up that Brigida that's ruining your day. So
yes, if you're Tracer and Brigida, I'm sorry, I've killed a bunch of you.
All right.
But yeah, you do not want to play Tracer to Brigida, but Sombra and Brigida, much better.
So that is our show. That's the end of episode 3 of Hero Recall. We really hope you're enjoying it, that you're learning things, that you're into the discussions that we're having. We will continue on our journey to get into every single hero's mind, but also we're going to be digging into things like maps and teams and all kinds of stuff when we run out of heroes, which will be a while, I think. There's like, 30 now, and then we have more probably.
There are more on the way.
Lots more on the way.
It's going to be a while.
I'm excited. I'm really excited excited to see the next one is. I really hope it's Echo, because
Overlord.
all the but all the things about Echo right now are because she's going to be a flying healer.
It's too soon.
A flying
it's too soon
healer.
For her. We've only seen one. It's about a year before they're first revealed, before you see them. That's why I think we might see Overlord soon, because Busan came out. Hammond came out kind of after Horizon. That's the map related to him.
Junker Queen might have
Queen might be somewhat soon.
Okay.
She's probably going to be a DPS. And they're not really looking at a lot of DPS.
She's going to be an
right
ability-based DPS. I don't think she's going to be a straight DPS. I think she's going to have some crazy fucking abilities.
I think we're going to see maybe another mecha soon. I'm hoping. But especially since they released that Busan map.
Good point. Alrighty, so that's our show. As promised, we will be back in a couple weeks with some more. Haven't picked a hero yet, so it'll be a surprise for everybody involved, including us. But we do appreciate all the love and support. Right now, you can follow us on Twitter. The handle is it still at Recall Hero? I never know.
I changed it to Hero Recall Overwatch. Let me just make sure.
So
it's not Overwatch, OW.
Yeah, so change it now if we haven't, but it will be at Hero Recall OW for
Overwatch. That's what it is right now.
So yeah, if that's where you if you want to come follow us, we generally just post like thoughts and stuff on on different things that are occurring throughout the week.
I retweet my plays.
Yes, you retweet. You get some good highlights, and also you'll also get any information about the show that's forthcoming. Or you can ask us questions if you have questions. If you have things that you want to see on the show, anything you want to discuss with us, the best place to reach us throughout until we hit another podcast. And anything that you do message us and talk to us about, we'll bring it up. We'll talk about it on the show because we're very open like that.
Sorry, I'm smiling because I'm looking at the Overwatch League scores. Uprising versus Reign is 2-2. And Boston took the first control point on the 5th map.
Poor Reign. Alrighty, so thank you so much for watching, because the world needs more heroes like you. Bye-bye.